Hello there guys, it has been a while. Guys, I'm really sorry that I haven't posted in a while. I've been quite busy. I have recently been doing a lot of polls of what you lot would like to see me do. So I'm going to be trying to film a lot of videos so I can start posting more often. But as I said, I'm very sorry that I haven't been posting. But yeah. So as the first video of my comeback, so you can call it, I'm going to be starting a bit of a new series. I'm going to be going over, I'm so sick so my brain's like not working properly, but I'm going to be talking about true crime stories. Okay, so let's start the story about Junko Furuta and the 44 days of torture. So Junko Furuta was a 16-year-old high school student that went to a school in Misato, Japan. Within school, Junko Furuta was a good-looking girl and she was quite popular, so she got much attention from people, which also made others jealous. However, from the perspective of the gangster teens, Junko Furuta was seen as very, very uncool due to the fact that she didn't smoke, nor drink, or do drugs. However, one of these gangster teenagers, he was quite at the top of the leaderboards, had a soft side for Junko Furuta. He had a big crush on her. However, Junko Furuta was not interested in any relationship. She just wanted to focus on her studies. But Hiroshi Miyano still went and asked her. And like every other boy that asked her, he got the same answer: no. This led to anger building up inside Hiroshi towards Junko Furuta. He was furious that someone could even say no to someone like him. This was because most people in the school feared him due to his connections with people outside of school. However, one day Hiroshi took his anger one step further and he decided to get free of his other friends and kidnap Junko Furuta while she was on her way back from her after school job. Once they kidnapped her, they took her to Tokyo. I don't know how far the distance between Tokyo and Misato is, but they took her to a completely different city. Whether that was an hour away, 20 minutes away, 3 hours away, they took her to a different city and kept her captive in one of the kidnappers' isolated homes. This house, was owned by the parents of one of the kidnappers. So this was a bit risky in case the parents found out, but obviously the boys would have something up their sleeves for when that happened. But the thing on their minds the most was making sure that the investigation that had started on Junko Furuta's disappearance got cancelled straight away. Because obviously, like any good parent, Junko Furuta's parents called the police and opened up an investigation the minute they realised she was missing. So the boys forced Junko Furuta to call her parents and tell them she's just run away, she's staying with a friend, and she is not in danger. Which obviously all of those 3 lies are not true. Well, obviously they're lies, of course they're not going to be true, but obviously those 3 points are not true. But obviously out of fear, Junko Furuta fulfilled their wish and called her parents. The investigation that had started on her got stopped. And now another problem has come up on the boys' hands. the parents of one of the kidnappers. Let me remember his name. I can't. This is the one name I struggle to say so much. Okay. Nobuaka. I can't say it. I can't say his surname, but Minato. So the parents of Minato had been popping in and out of the house, obviously. And whenever they did, Junko Furuta was just one of the boys' girlfriends. So, of course, the parents believed this lie and just kept seeing her as one of the girlfriends. Until, obviously, bruises started to appear on her body and a lot of harm started happening to her. But out of fear of her son and the 3 other boys, the mother and the father did nothing about it. They knew what was happening. Well, they didn't know what was happening, but they knew that she was not one of the boys' girlfriends. But the parents couldn't do anything due to fear towards their son. Okay, so everything I just spoke about before was a summary of like what kind of happened during her kidnapping. So about how she lied about where she was, the parents of the kidnappers, and obviously I brought it up quite a few times, the fact that she got beaten and raped. However, now this is the part where I go into a lot of detail, and this is the part that boils my blood. Like, this is the part that disgusts me, how they could even how they can even do this to a person, how humans can do this to another human. It's disgusting. So when I first listened to the story, I hated listening to this part. It was actually like traumatizing. It was horrible. So if you do not want to know all of the cruel, unspeakable, painful and torturous things they done to her, I'll put a time up that you can skip to, so you do not have to listen to it. However, if you do want to listen and you do want to know everything that happened to her during these 44 days, enjoy, because I'm about to talk about all of them and give my little opinion on everything that happened. So yeah, the first thing was the boys tried to humiliate her, maybe like how she humiliated Hiroshi or whatever, but they tried to humiliate her. So they would always keep her naked. That's probably like the most normal thing they've done during this whole time of her captivity. And you see me call that normal? Just imagine how bad all the other things are, because being kept naked 24/7 to humiliate yourself isn't normal, but within this story it's really one of the only normal things. During the 44 days of her kidnapping, Junko Furuta was raped every single day. It wasn't like she got raped one day, then she had a little break, then it was the next day. Every day she was getting raped, and every day she was getting raped by more men. One day, they believed that 12 different men raped her. In one day, 12 men raped this 16-year-old girl. Just bear in mind, some of these men were way older than her. Some of them may be similar ages, but some of them were way older than her. There are said to be over 500 rapes that took place on her within the 44 days. And over 100 men, 100 different men, it's not just 100, like, it happened like 100 different times. 100 different men raped her. During this 44 days, she got raped about 500 times by 100 different men. That's disgusting. That is horrible, and that is traumatizing. So I think that is one of the most horrible things they've probably done to her. And the fact that they brought other people in and other people were fine with doing it, other people didn't say anything. But of course they wouldn't say anything because they raped her. They would also be charged. As I said, she was beat. But when I say beat, she wasn't just slapped with their hands or like a belt. She was brutally beat to the point that her body was bruised. The bruising wouldn't go down. The bruising was basically permanent. They beat her with golf clubs, they beat her with iron bars, they would push her face against the concrete floor several times until she would bleed. It was just, what they done to her was honestly horrible. As I said, many different men came in to rape her. One thing they did when other men would come in was they would urinate upon her. This was said to turn the other men on. So to turn other men on, they would pee on her. So they say that over 110 men, and by men, when I say men, I mean people within like gang groups and stuff like that. So they weren't just random men off the street. There were people they had connections to that were in gangs or apparently knew the Japanese mafia. That was said. So who knows? But gangsters, when I say men, I mean gangsters, were said to have peed on her. 110 different men peed on her. Just one man peeing on you is disgusting. Let alone 100 and bloody 10. That's disgusting. Other ways to turn the men on. Well, when I say men, I kind of mean like the teenage ones that raped her. Because the older men enjoyed watching her get peed on, but the younger men enjoyed watching her masturbate. So they would force her to masturbate to turn the younger men on, or the younger boys, whatever. To be honest, peeing on her, making her masturbate, it's disgusting. Like, also, this is like one of the most horrible things that when I heard it, I was like, what the hell? How can someone have the heart? How can someone's heart be so black that they would do something like this? I'm just saying, from here it gets a lot more cruel and a lot more brutal and a lot more horrible. So of course they raped her, but they didn't only penetrate her using their penis. They would penetrate her with various objects. They would shove scissors, skewers that like you would use on the kebab, would stick roasting needles, bottles. They didn't really be precise on what type of bottles, but bottles were shoved up her. Again, iron bars were shoved up her. Multiple things got inserted within both her vagina and her anus. She was never just raped within one, it was always both. Of course, during her time, they didn't treat her well, so of course they didn't give her much water and they didn't give her much food. And I don't know if the boys done this because they enjoyed it, or they just wanted to be so cruel, or they just liked seeing people do this. If they did, they're crazy, but from what they've done, we've already gathered that they're crazy. But if she got so hungry, they would force her to eat cockroaches and then force her to drink her urine. She couldn't say no to this. If she said no, I'm guessing they'd force it down her. But if she really desperately wanted food, she would have to eat cockroaches and drink urine, which again, disgusting. Just seeing a cockroach scares me. Imagine eating one. I couldn't. I couldn't. I'm petrified of them. I wouldn't be able to. I think one of the this is the point that really, really made me like, I don't know how to describe it, but this point made me think, are these people even humans? Like, there has to be something wrong with their minds for them to do this. Yeah, okay, rape her, beat her, but they would go past that line, and this part just shows it. Within her 44 days of captivity, the boys or men would shove fireworks up her anus. I wish I could say that's all they done. I wish I could say they just shoved the firework up there. And I know it sounds bad but I say that, but I feel like for her it would be a lot better. Instead, they would shove it up her and light it and let it go off inside of her. This led to internal burns. This led to several burn injuries, which obviously then affected her within the future. She had her nipple, only one. She only had one of her nipples ripped off with pliers. As a female, I know how it hurts to pinch your nipple. It hurts very much. So imagine getting it ripped off. That pain must have been horrible. And do you think they even covered it up once it was done? No. Her nipple probably got infected afterwards. So that's just disgusting. She probably had one crimpled boob, which is just ugh. Another thing they done to her other boob, or her other nipple, was they would pierce her nipple with a sewing needle. A sewing needle? I've heard that even getting your nipple pierced normally with the actual piercing needle hurts as well. So imagine a sewing needle. That is just horrid. Absolutely horrid. She also had dumbbells hang from the ceiling and dropped straight onto her stomach several times, which led to obviously loss of bowel control, because where it was dropping on her stomach, it was then fucking up her bowel. He still done more. They would tie her feet and hands up, hang her from the ceiling, and use her as a boxing bag. Another thing she went through was she was kept in a freezer for several hours. Just going outside affects me. Just like stepping outside, the minute I feel that cold breeze, I'm just like, oh my god, I want to go back to my bed. Imagine being kept in a freezer for hours. I wouldn't have been able to cope. I would have given up. I would have just been like, can you kill me already? I'm surprised it took so much for her life to come to an end. I didn't know a human could go through so much stress, so much torture and so much pain and still live. But another thing they done, which also is quite crazy, it seemed like they had quite an obsession with burning parts of her body or leaving her with burn injuries. So they would burn her eyelids, and your eyelids are quite thin and they are very sensitive. Even doing that hurts my eyelid. So imagine burning it. And as I said, they burn other parts of her body. They would burn her clitoris. And when I say burn, you'll probably think I just mean a lighter or maybe a match. A lighter was one of the things they used, but they would drip hot candle wax straight from the candle onto her eyelids and obviously to her clitoris. This and the firework thing, the point I'm just about to go over, and the firework thing, I think were one of the most fucked up things I have ever heard in my life. This left me traumatized. If anyone ever mentions Junko Furuta's name around me, the first things that pop into my head is the firework thing and the fact that they put hot light bulbs inside her vagina and twisted it until the light bulb exploded inside of her. That's... So my camera died. Sorry about that. Didn't know I was on social battery. I'm talk about how this kind of affected her body, but I'm not going to go in much detail because the website I went on didn't really give me much information. But yeah, so while she was only a third of the way through this torture, obviously her body started to malfunction, or like her body stopped working in ways they should. For example, due to this beating, she could no longer breathe through her nose, which obviously shows that they must have done a lot to her to make that much blood build up within her cavities, because that is the reason she stopped being able to breathe through her nose, was because of an accumulation of blood within her cavities. That was one of the things that happened to her. And another thing that happened to her, because obviously mess up her internal organs, so obviously I guess you can say they were traumatized. So due to the trauma and the abuse that happened to her internal organs, she began to not be able to drink water or drinks or whatever they would give her, or eat food. This meant whenever she would drink water, she would throw it up instantly, leading to her being very, very dehydrated. However, another thing that happened was, due to her vomiting a lot, the kidnappers got very pissed off and annoyed by it. So when she would throw up, she would get beat again for being bad or whatever. So she would get punished or tortured for ruining the carpet. And one day, finally, Junko Furuta decided to do a very courageous, a very brave thing. And you lot might be like, how is that brave? How is that courageous? That's something she just should have done. Like, it's like common sense. Imagine being held captive by dudes that say they know the mafia of your country. I'm sure you would be scared. And I'm sure you wouldn't want to make this choice, because the minute it goes wrong, you pretty much know your life is done for, even though Junko Furuta's life has been done for a very long time. But one day, the boys decided to go out for a drink, and they got a bit drunk, and whilst they were resting, Junko Furuta decided to try and call the cops. Of course, this didn't end well. The boys found out, and they were angry. They once again tortured her. They lit her feet on fire, fully on fire. She had burn marks from toe to like knee, like all the way up to her thighs. I think there's a picture, I might put it up, I might not, because it is a bit disturbing. I'll think about it during editing. But burns all up her legs, because they burnt her legs using a lighter fluid. It wasn't like they just set her skin on fire. They lit it with lighter fluid and just let her legs burn. They also put large wine bottles, they also forced, large wine bottles up her anus, causing terrible internal injuries and internal bleeding. So she was bleeding a lot out of her anus. That was how she got punished for calling the police. And eventually, after 20 days of torture, due to badly bruised muscles and severe leg burns left Junko Furuta unable to walk, Her attackers had smashed all of the bones in her fingers and ripped off all of her and all her fingernails like had been cracked, and her hands had stiffened due to this. Every bone in her hand from there upwards was broken. Her fingernails were cracked, so obviously her hands were not working anymore. Her hands, there was no way she could use her hands to protect herself or stop herself from getting hurt anymore. Her legs were burnt to crisp. It's not like she could use her legs to do anything. The pain of even touching her legs, I'm sure, killed. So now she really generally had no way to try and protect herself. And it was winter during this time, so it was freezing. So just for a little bit more fun for the boys, they would make her sleep on a balcony, exposing her injuries and her body to very, very cold temperatures. Then, after 30 days, Junko Furuta found it almost impossible to urinate. For us, urinating is something we do on a daily. It is normal. It's pss and done. Or wipe, wash hands, done. Simple as done, easy. Imagine finding it almost impossible to urinate. Just imagine the pain you had to go through for something so normal to be so hard. It must have been horrible. No, of course, the peeing was because of the damage to her internal organs and her vulva. This damage came from inserting foreign objects, bottles, iron bars, etc. into her vagina, and it was also due to the burning of her vagina with cigarettes, lighters and candle wax. Also, her hands and feet were completely, they were so damaged to the point that getting up and down the stairs took her almost an hour. So just to get to the bathroom took her almost an hour. Then she had to try peeing, which was almost impossible, and then she had to get back up the stairs. Another thing that had happened to her was her brain size had reduced. Her brain had got smaller. To be honest, I'm a bit stupid. I didn't even think that was possible. Her brain had got smaller due to the damage. Her eardrums were both, not even one, both of her eardrums were damaged. So much was wrong with her. And I think this is probably why I never say this. I never say death is good for a person. I never say that death helps a person unless they are suffering so badly. And that's why I think I say so proudly, fully with my chest, that death was probably the best thing for Junko Furuta during this 44 days. Because if I was in her shoes, for every single one of those days, I would have been praying that I would die. Whether that was because they beat me to death, because I died of getting raped, because I died just because of the damage they've done to my body already, I would have been praying to die. So that's probably why I say the death of Junko Furuta was probably one of the best things that happened to her. I guess I'm now gonna have to talk about her death. The reason she died, I feel like the reason behind the reason why they beat her the last time is so stupid, but I guess it kind of was good for her because it did take her to a better place. But here's the story behind how they beat her, why they beat her for the very last time. Obviously, during this 44 days of rape and torture, Junko Furuta, like any person would, begged them to kill her. She begged and begged, but obviously the boys didn't want to kill her. The boys wanted to use her as their little puppet and hurt her. don't know why, because it's never really been said, but they wanted to hurt her. But one day, the boys invited Junko Furuta to play a game of solitaire. To be precise, Mahjong solitaire. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Mahjong solitaire. And Junko Furuta won this very game of solitaire. The boys were very angry at the fact that they lost to her, which then provoked them to beat her so badly. And honestly, I think this is the worst beating she went through. They beat her with iron barbells and then set her alight. Usually they would only set one limb, one body part, but this time they set her face, her stomach, both arms, both legs on fire. And to make it worse, they poured lighter fluid on top of the fire to make sure it hurt her and burned 10 times worse. Due to obviously already being very malnourished, having many injuries, being very dehydrated, Junko Furuta slipped into a state of shock and passed away the following day. To hide her body, the young murderers, because they were only like 16, 17 themselves, the young murderers stuffed her body into they described it as a drum. I don't know if it's actually like instrument drum, but a drum. It was a 55-gallon drum, and they put her body in it and filled it with concrete and dumped it nearby in Koto, Tokyo. Such more of a better reason why they beat her. She won a game. Like, I am a sore loser. Everyone that's been in my PE class will know I am a sore loser. I hate losing. But I would never take it as far as to beat someone to the last second of their life. That's what them boys did. So I'm now gonna tell you lot the names of the murderers or the kidnappers. The boys were Hiroshi Miyano, who was obviously the dude that asked her out at the start. Like, he was the reason why this whole kidnapping happened. He was 18 years old at the time of the crime, and he later changed his name to Hiroshi Yokomiya. Then there was Joe Ogura, who was 18 at the time of the crime and later changed his name to Joe Kamishaku. So, due to the fact that they weren't served as, they weren't given time as an adult, their sentence was a lot smaller, which means all four of them are out 3. While Junko Furuta has no longer a life. Whether they were juvies or not, the things they've done were cruel and horrid, and if I was the judge, I don't care if they're juvies, I don't care if they're underage. 2 of them are 18. Well, in England, you're practically an adult at that age. Okay guys, that was a very, very sensitive topic, very, very sensitive story. If you lot do like this type of series, do please leave a thumbs up and comment down below other cases you lot like or you lot would want me to go over. I might even do a little poll on my Snapchat or Instagram, which will be right over here, for you lot to give me another story to do. But if you did enjoy this video and you would like to see more videos like this where I do just sit and tell a story, do leave a thumbs up and comment down below. And if you are new to my channel, I don't always post such dark things, I promise. But if you are new to my channel, please subscribe, because everyone's welcome here on my channel and we're trying to grow the family here. So do feel free to subscribe and become a part of the family. I'm also trying to think of a fandom name, guys, so if you lot do have any suggestions, once again, put them down in the comments down below. But it was lovely seeing you lot again. Oh, it was lovely filming another video. I hope you lot did enjoy it as much as I did filming it. But have a lovely day, night, wherever you are. Enjoy whatever you're doing, and peace out.